In the sealed-off region of Tarkov, few things loom as large or as paradoxically as the man known only as Sanitar. He's a ghost of Tarkov's recent past and a brutal reality of its present. A man who haunts the once idyllic coastal area of Shoreline, turning a former tourist paradise into his personal, blood-soaked fiefdom. Sanitar is a living, breathing representation of the TerraGroup catastrophe, a man who embodies the fall from the pinnacle of scientific achievement to the lowest point of human depravity. Official intelligence paints the picture of a brilliant mind, a former doctor and scientist who commanded unquestioned authority and respect amongst his colleagues. He was a key player in TerraGroup's ambitious research programs and was a respected professional at the forefront of his field. But his history stands as a stark, violent contrast to the man we know today, a crazed, aggressive, and bloodthirsty lunatic, a sadist who now freely indulges in the very research chemicals he once created. The schism between the man he was and the monster he became makes him one of the most compelling and tragic figures within Tarkov. Beyond the bandages and bloodlust, Sanitar is a high-value asset within the sprawling corporate empire of TerraGroup. Piecing together intelligence gathered from traders like Peacekeeper reveals a man of significant professional standing and expertise, far removed from the common thugs and scavengers that now populate Tarkov. Peacekeeper confirms that Sanitar was not an ordinary employee. He states that Sanitar had graduated in medicine and is a specialist in infectious diseases. His work for TerraGroup was on the cutting edge of biochemical research, specifically leading projects in the development of new psychoactive substances and neurostimulants. His research mandate was broad, extending from studying the influence of various conditions on the body to creating the very performance-enhancing stimulants that PMCs now covet on the battlefield. His work places him at the heart of TerraGroup's most sensitive and potentially illicit projects, the kind of research that would have direct applications in creating super soldiers or controlling human behavior. But Sanitar was not your typical reclusive, lab-bound academic. Often went on detached duty to hot zones along with the medical corps, and after formally joining TerraGroup, he regularly visited Africa and other offices, supervising developments. His travels to TerraGroup's African offices are particularly noteworthy, as they directly link him to the corporation's controversial and violent activities on that continent, which involve the extensive use of private military contractors to secure their particular interests. It's more than likely that he was supervising the use of military-grade stimulants in a live environment. Aside from his primary place of work in the official TerraGroup Labs facility, Sanitar also maintained his own office at the Azure Coast Sanatorium, where he conducted additional research, especially during the last weeks before the total collapse of the region. With TerraGroup engaged in deeply illegal activities and facing imminent exposure from bear operatives and international bodies, the corporation would have been desperate to accelerate the most critical projects while simultaneously hiding the evidence. The main labs facility, located underneath the city's center, would have been the primary target for investigation. By moving the most sensitive research to a seemingly innocuous health resort on the coast, TerraGroup could create a layer of plausible deniability. The fact that Sanitar had his own office there implies a high degree of autonomy and secrecy. It's highly probable that the Azure Coast Sanatorium became an off-the-books skunkworks facility, far away from the prying eyes of investigators. Another possibility is that Sanitar used the resort as a place to continue his work after the collapse. Unable to let go of his research, he conducted his most dangerous and unethical experiments in his desperation to hold on to an occupation destroyed by corruption. The word Sanitar in Russian translates to orderly or medic's assistant. Historically, the term has been used for frontline combat medics, individuals who often had limited formal training but were responsible for providing initial first aid on the battlefield. This interpretation aligns with his established medical background and his practical, hands-on approach to combat healing, but it suggests a more junior or practical role rather than chief scientist, so the name Sanitar is a bit ironic. A sanitary environment is one of health and cleanliness. A sanatorium is a place of healing and recovery. A sanitar, in his role as a medic or orderly, is a person who clears wounds and restores health. Yet the work of Sanitar the scientist is the antithesis of this, creating dangerous psychoactive substances and conducting unethical experiments, contributing to the sickness that helped lead Tarkov to collapse. In this post-Law and Order state, Sanitar has become a grotesque perversion of his own title. His story is a tragic arc of transformation, charting his fall from well-mannered, quiet, and polite scientist to a violent sadist. A walking, breathing contamination who needs to be cleansed if Tarkov ever hopes to heal properly.